Hello, back on my podcast. And today I have a great guest to introduce to you. But first, for who doesn't know my podcast yet and who doesn't know me, I'm Sarah. I'm a holistic nutrition coach, and I'm also a lot working with human design and mindset. Herbal medicine, gut health, and I have this podcast to motivate you, to inspire you to go on this holistic healing journey. And I'm interviewing lots of inspiring people. And today I have the honor to talk to my coach from the past, Onkartej, who's a Kundalini and spiritual teacher, and I'm super happy to speak to her today. So welcome, Onkartej. So nice to see you again after like a long time we didn't speak since our
It has been a while.
Yeah, it has been a long while. So tell us a bit about yourself to our listeners. Who are you? Who is Onkartej?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Sarah. I really appreciate seeing you again after all this time. And lots has happened since then, hasn't it? And so, yeah, I think we've been on quite dynamic journeys ever since we last worked together. And who is Onkartej? It's ever changing and ever dynamic. I never want to put myself in one, box. I think that's that would be like the death of me, so that question is it's a great question as well, because it has me thinking and feeling like who am I right now in this moment? Well, in this moment I am first and foremost a mother and a daughter, and that makes me really happy to have children to be responsible for and to raise, and to keep me grounded and to keep me inspired with what I, the mission and the purpose and what I want to bring into this world. I think everything that I've done up in from the point that I've had my first child was, it's been for to provide for them in some ways. It's been to really be able to enrich my own life so that their lives are enriched as well. But not only that, of course I do that for myself too, but most definitely my children are my biggest inspirations. And so first and foremost, I'm a mother. And following that, I am, I teach yoga, Kundalini yoga to be specific. I also work with women and men to help them really move through any sort of heartache or heartbreak or the devastation of a breakup. And I help, guide them back to health and happiness. So, that one's been something that I've been very familiar with a few times in my life. And so, just really coming back to that now again to refine the purpose and passion for that. And I'm also a student, student of life, and definitely have many learnings from not only nature, but from my children, from my environment, from my friends, but also I've just entered the education stream as well. So I've just started university, and so I'll be learning about counseling and psychotherapy. So that's very exciting for me. And so I'm very excited about that, and looking forward to what I will be learning and what else I could bring into the work that I do.
Yeah. And what made you actually have this urge to become a Kundalini teacher? Or what drew you to Kundalini? What is so special about it?
What was really special for me in terms of Kundalini was its unique quality. It has such a capacity to open the heart, which I had never, I had always logically known that I had a heart that keeps me alive, that beats, and that pumps blood through my body. But I up until the point where I did Kundalini, I didn't actually really feel connected to all of the emotional processing and the feelings that my heart is very sensitive to. Like, you know, of course I'd felt love and I'd felt connection and I felt joy and happiness and bliss, but the actual deep connection, like the actual emotional connection that I had to my heart, wasn't present until Kundalini. So that was what really solidify my connection and my dedication to the practice.
Did you have kind of an awakening or kind of a very special moment where you thought like, wow, what is this?
Yes. Yes, I did actually. So my first class was very interesting. It wasn't something that I felt like had any sort of I didn't feel anything from my first class. I just thought this is quite weird and strange, but I was intrigued because it is quite different to other yoga practices. Yeah. And so like but something had, you know, like something had hooked me in, like the uniqueness, and because I'm very quite, you know, I like things that are a bit different anyway, and so I kept going back, and I had a 1 month membership to, you know, like a beginner's membership to the studio, and so yeah, I went repeatedly back for a week. I think I went to 5 classes, and then on the 5th class was when I had this feeling of wow, like clarity like I've never experienced before in my life. And I just felt so just open and like clear is the only word that I can, you know, really describe that feeling of. Like I just felt alive, you know, like ecstatic in a way, but like in a really vibrant, healthy, lit up way. It was like the word enlightenment, you know, like the word enlightenment, when you break it down, is like is being to have light, you know, move through and fill you up. And so that's what it felt like. It just felt like a light bulb went off. Wow. Within my being. But after that week of practice, I think it was like a month later or something like that, where I went to another class, and at the end of the class, the teacher asked us to put our hands on our heart. And yeah, that's when I had that experience of, wow, I have a heart. Like, you know, because I could feel my heartbeat and just that real stillness and that real presence with my heart. Like I've never, ever been so present and so available and so connected to my heart before. And so that was huge to experience. And yeah, I had a really long conversation with the teacher after that. And I was just like, you know, I have a heart. That was like the most, you know, it was just like such a joyous, innocent thing. So I really have to say that, you know, Kundalini is, it takes you back to your innocence, you know, to that purity, that purification of all the noise, all of the chaos, you know, all of the blocks, and out of the mind and into the heart, into the body. So yeah, that's why it's very special to me. And that's, you know, the connection. Well, Kundalini, what it means is like spiritual life force energy. And so, you know, when you really have connection to your life force and to spirit, you know, it's such a phenomenal feeling that yeah, it really is the embodiment of what the name is. So yeah, it is very special.
I also felt such a change since I did the guidance with you, you know. Yeah, it's I cannot explain it, how I feel now, like the Sarah of now after, you know, working with you, and before is completely different. As you said, much more connected, much more instinctual as well, like intuitive, and
yes,
to the universe, to myself, to my heart. Yeah, and I'm also much more aware of what is happening in me, you know, like how I respond to moments, it's and to people, to emotions. It's powerful. Yeah. But what I'm super interested, like what made you then decide, no, first, what did it change in your daily life then, after you had this, let's say, awakening and connection to your heart?
Well, when I discovered Kundalini yoga, I was already clear that I wanted to teach yoga because I knew, how healing it was for me during my journey at that stage, but I just didn't know what form or what style of yoga it was going to be. So, yeah, when I found Kundalini yoga, it was like after that week, it was very clear that this was going to be it. And so yeah, what was your question again, Sarah?
Like, what did it do in your like? How did you feel a change in your daily life then, in like the way
Okay.
how you reacted on people, or in your relationships, or
Yeah, yeah. So the most profound change that I found with the practice was that um, I was able to, like, sort of like you said before, I was able to see myself, like, my reactions in, like, and catch them before they were actually like kind of become this unconscious pattern or a habit. So yeah, the awareness just became so much more profound, like my awareness of my myself, my automatic reactions, the way I think, the way I feel. It just became so much more refined. Like I had much more of a capacity to channel my energy, my attention. So yeah, like I was just more focused and healthy, like just, and felt ecstatic actually. So I just felt so high on life, and that's such an amazing feeling to have, like, and such a natural way of being as well, and that is our natural state. So in Kundalini yoga, there's this mantra called Aung Vahe Guru, which means there's ecstasy vibrating through my every cell. And so like that's pretty much what it is to be so connected and tapped into spirit, and to like to awaken that Kundalini. And yeah, and so that was how I was functioning and experiencing the world. Like I would have to say, I've experienced depression at different times of my life, and from a very young age. And just before this interview, I was reflecting on what we might be talking about as well. And just before this interview, I'd taken a test for depression, because of it was one of the requirements for the university studies, just so that we can understand how we function and who we are and how we operate. And so it was like 4 questions. I know each question had like 3 multiple choice answers, and I rated like 0 on, I think there was like 23 questions. I rated 0 on 22 of them, and 1 on one of them. So 0 being nothing and 3 being the highest. And so yeah, it's just like this practice, and like where I'm at with what I'm doing has just enabled to move so far from the depressive states that I've actually been in my past. And the most profound one was like after my first trial. I really feel like there was some kind of prenatal or postnatal depression. And I remember like going to the doctors, and they were going to prescribe me medication like antidepressants. And at that, like I was only 21. At that stage, I already knew, there was a real deep knowing within me that I didn't want to take medication, and because I knew that I would have to be dependent on it, because like antidepressants is something that you have to slowly come off of as well, so you become addicted to it. And so yeah, it's been amazing to experience life without depression, and feeling really good just because of practice and the things that you do, like self-care practices that have you feeling so good,
feeling high on your own dopamine, let's say. Kind of.
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
like recently I was at a dinner, and friends asked me, why don't you drink? And I just said, I don't need it, I'm high on my own. I get high on running, high on Kundalini, high on this, and I have other things I get high on, so. And they were really astonished, and also very inspired by this answer. So anyway,
so good.
yeah.
Yay, yay,
I'm really
that's so
happy
good.
about this. So I have another question. Like, why? What did you then? What made you decide to become a Kundalini coach or a Kundalini teacher yourself?
Yeah, it was just so important. Like, yeah, I think for me, my life came to a stage where so I'd lost my previous job in fashion design, and I was like, I was just at a point in my life where what am I going to do with my life now? And like, I didn't want to go back to another fashion design job because the industry is quite toxic. You know, it's very cutthroat industry. It's very unhealthy. And like within me, I knew that I wanted something, you know, I wanted something like I wanted to be in alignment with integrity. And I think from the youngest age, from the littlest age, you know, I just always wanted to be honest and to always to be in of integrity. And, you know, as my journey, you know, progressed, as I became older, wiser, yeah, and like Kundalini yoga just felt so clear to me, like as the direction and the path. So yeah, when I lost my job in fashion design, I had to really, you know, like soul search. I had to seek right into my soul, and I found a little book that was very that changed the whole direction of my life. And it was a little guided meditation book, and it was called Why. I haven't been able to find it since. I wish I had recorded, you know, the authors, because I wish I could, you know, be able to pass it on to anybody else that's, you know, like sort of at a loss of what to do. But it was a guided meditation, which I'd never done before. Prior to that, I'd done like yoga in the gym, but never meditation. And so it was a meditation that guided how to find your life purpose.
Wow.
And yeah,
I would love to have this book also.
Yeah, it's this tiny little book. It was like really, really small, and it had the pictures of clouds on it, and it was just the sky and this big, you know, in big font Y on the front cover. And I remember feeling very lost at the time, and yeah, and asking for help. Like I was asking for some kind of help and some kind of guidance, and I found that book at the library after school one day with my girls. And yeah, and it's like I didn't think I'd be able to, you know, like be able to do the meditation because I'd never done it before, but for some reason I just read it, and it, like I just went right into it, and it just, like, I've immediately felt that it dropped in, you know, become a yoga teacher to help other people heal their broken hearts. And so because that was what yoga was helping for me at the time. Like it was really helping me to stay balanced. And yeah, and then that became it. And then the journey became to like find the yoga that I was going to teach. And during that path, like I had all of these different people come into my path to help move me in this direction. And I think like it's always the case, like every single step I've taken, like, and this new direction into psychotherapy has also had like people like, you know, coming in and, you know, really assisting that journey
Signs,
all along.
lots of signs.
So many signs, so much support, so much like yeah, protection as well. Like there's just been every avenue opens up. Like there might be a few challenges here and there, but you know, after the initial kind of you know, maybe resistance or, you know, sort of yeah, sort of like kind of difficulty, then yeah, it always like that decision becomes and the will and the determination becomes so much stronger that yeah, it just becomes possible. Everything becomes possible.
Yeah, I think this is so inspiring for our listeners now, like to see if you're also on a seeking purpose, seeking what is your path of your life. Just don't hesitate to also ask for help, like ask your guide, connect, and try Kundalini yoga. For sure.
Yeah, come find me and I can help you as well. And I'm sure, you know, like I think the biggest thing like that people struggle with the most, and I have friends and who are also in this situation, is just not believing enough that something is possible.
I'm sorry.
You know, like bless you. Just not believing in that, you know, like that there is a place in whichever industry, whichever area you want to go, that there is space for you in that, you know, where that you can do it. Like I have, yeah, like a few friends in mine who want to get into coaching, who want to get into, you know, the health and wellness and you know, holistic wellness, but just, you know, feel a bit of fear, and it's like, you know, that fear is always going to hold you back. You know, there is never going to be a right time. You just have to like want something so much that, you know, that you just don't stop at no. Like, and I think I really feel like this is what's happened with my psychotherapy training this time, because I want it so much, and I like that, like I'm not going to stop at anything. And yeah, it's really interesting. At 42 years old, I'm going back to school, and that's never something I ever thought that I would ever do. I actually haven't even finished high school, so I didn't even complete high school. And like sort of, yeah, just sort of never thought I'd ever actually go back to school. But now as a mature age student, like, you know, just feeling like, yeah, there's something else that I would love to, you know, bring into the world, because I've had so much benefit from it. I find psychotherapy such a profound and healing and unlocking like deeper layers of the psyche, deeper layers of awareness. Like yoga and meditation are wonderful and fantastic. Like Kundalini yoga, I have to say, you know, I'm still so dedicated to that. However, there are parts of the brain and within ourselves and within our own, like sort of, you know, traumas and our own experiences that yeah, therapy and having a trained specialist to hold that space for can really, you know, really access deeper parts of ourselves.
So now in your new like in your future way of helping people, you will bring that all together, I guess, no? Like psychotherapy, yes. Kundalini meditation, spirituality, all
yes.
in one kind of
yes
concept.
yeah yeah, that's like within my own, like, because I noticed that within my own development, my own personal development, my own healing and my own understanding, that yeah, that there's places, there's parts of me that I can't access on my own through my yoga or through, you know, my meditation, and that, you know, like having a therapist really helps me too. And so that's where I've noticed my gap is, and that's where I want to bridge that gap, and to also be able to provide, you know, that therapeutic space for those that I work with.
Yeah, amazing. I'm really looking forward to see your path now unfolding. How long does it need now, this study?
It's 3 years of full-time study.
Wow.
Yeah.
But will you also teach and guide people on in the meanwhile, or are you stopping for 3 years and then retaking it?
Yeah, I'll have to really see how I go. But at the moment, like I have the intentions of like I'm teaching one class a week on a Thursday night, and then I want to have the intention of like having 2 private students that I work with for like long term, maybe like 6 months sort of time frame. And like that would be my maximum capacity to work with, because this full-time study is around about 30 to 40 hours a week of study, so that's already full-time in itself. But I'm gonna have work and, you know, and students to also
and your kids.
Be able to, yes,
not to forget.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So I have still two little mini questions to make it not too long for our talk. How do you have, what is your spiritual practice every day looking now like with your busy schedule now? Or what would you advise to people who have a busy schedule? Because, you know, doing maybe every morning a morning routine of 45 minutes is not, can be even a stress factor. I saw that like with people when they think I have to now get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, do that, and then going back into the to-do list of the day. I could see it with myself, but also with other people that can even create stress. So what would you what would you advise for people how to get into it?
That's a good question. It's people who are wanting to get into it, who aren't in it at all, do you mean? Or
to start to have a kind of mono routine or like a spiritual practice to integrate every day without feeling that it's a must or duty, and then still easy to integrate in the daily life if you have kids, if you have a full-time job or whatever occupation.
Well, you know, with that question, like the one thing that stands out to me the most is make everything you do a meditation. you know, like it's not you waking up in the morning, you know, being on your mat, but like it's you getting up and like before you actually open your eyes, you notice which nostril you're breathing out of, you know, you just give thanks for the day. That's a prayer and a meditation in itself, you know. And then like the way you get out of bed, like I think I've shared this with you, Sarah, where you notice which nostril you're breathing out of, and then you roll out of the same side of the bed and you step off the bed with that same foot. Have we talked about this?
I don't remember it.
Okay. So, so
but it's a good one. It's a very good one.
Yeah, that's the most simple thing you can do and the quickest thing that you can do, and it brings you to awareness. It brings you to the now. So like as soon as you come to awakening, you into an awake state, you notice which nostril you're breathing out of. It's always one or the other. You're never really breathing out of both nostrils at the same time. So yeah, if you're breathing most dominantly through your left nostril, then you roll out of the left side of the bed. You might have to roll over your husband or your partner. If he's on that side of the bed, and then you step off the same side of the bed as, so you would step off the bed with your left foot. And like, so this, like it sounds a little bit weird and quirky, but it's, you know, it's like it's just bringing such awareness to your day, you know, because so often we'll just wake up and we'll just like throw off the blankets if we're late, you know, for our, you know, for our like alarm, and then we'll just quickly rush around. So like, you know, just that in itself is really potent and powerful. And then like, you know, you just go about your day. Like we've got the morning self-care routine, and like, you know, it's the oil pulling, dry brushing, and all of those things, just bringing so much presence to that. You know, it's just really being able to be present. Meditation doesn't have to look like, you know, sitting on your yoga mat, you know, on a cushion. It's meditation is, you know, in your entire day, like just coming back to here, coming back to your breath, and notice how you're feeling, and yeah, just being so present. You can do that. And but if, you know, like, but movement is essential. So, you know, finding some kind of movement, shaking for like 5 minutes is really good, because that shakes off, you know, all of the stagnant energy. So I would recommend that too for people who don't have a lot of time. So, you know, like just being present with the breath, shaking is really good. And now, like I go to the gym like 5 or 6 times a week, so that's like a 45-minute class every morning. So like it's really important. If you want to do a lot, then you have to work your body to be able to do a lot, you know, like, so the more that your body can like endure and can take on, the more that it can do. So it's like it's all in proportion. If you've got like lots of ambition, you know, there's things that you want to accomplish, the body has to be able to like have the energy and, you know, the stamina to be able to do that. And so work yourself.
Of course, the food is then also how you nourish your body is also a very big part.
Yes, and that's where you come in.
yeah But you're also not so bad in that, I think, because I know also a bit like how you are eating and how you're how you're nourishing yourself, and I think you're on a good path as well.
I think it's all holistic, right? And so, you know, finding, you know, each area of your life where, you know, you can really find, you know, healthy ways to maintain vitality is so necessary.
But you know, one thing which became more and more clear to me in the last years is that not only the food is nourishing us, but especially our thoughts can toxify us or nourish us. And this is something that a lot of us or a lot of people are not really aware of, how toxifying the thoughts can be for the body and for our life. Because we are not aware of them. We just they just float through us the whole day. But by Kundalini, it brings all this awareness, and then we see it or we feel it and we observe it. That's it. That's the first moment of change. That's kind of the spark of change, when you observe it.
Absolutely.
How others talk to you, how you talk to yourself, and then you are able to start setting mini boundaries until you're like, you helped me also a lot with this. It's so powerful. So last question, how can people find you, like if they want to start discovering Kundalini yoga, or anyway also reaching out to you? Would that be on your on your Instagram, on your YouTube channel, or where?
Yeah, there's all of those things. There's the YouTube channel, there's the Facebook, and there's the Instagram. And I'm also in the middle of building my website, which is very exciting. So when that's done, it should be like maybe in the next week or so. Onkartej.com is where you'll be able to find me, and where, yeah, you'd be able to access my work and what I do. You know, book
Anyway, I
appointments.
will link everything in the show notes, and then you can find her. And yeah, if you're interested to try something, she has amazing videos on her YouTube where you can dive into you know, how Kundalini feels for you. It's yeah, I really love the one against the limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's
yourself. Yeah, so yeah, don't hesitate to try to see, you know, their energy, and it's so beautiful. I like your sessions because they're mostly also outside and this like natural background. It's
yeah, thanks, Sarah.
yes,
Just one thing before we go, I just want to really quickly talk to, you know, how you're saying the mind, like the mind, the toxics, you know, it can be toxic, and that's where, you know, we can really feel, you know, like sort of toxicity from. Journaling is an amazing tool and a practice to empty the mind, like just free flow writing, about at least 3 pages, just to empty and dump everything that's, you know, like circulating through the mind is really helpful.
yeah, wow, yeah, that's yeah. Do you do that every day also, 3 pages, or?
Yeah, if you can. And you know, a real quick gratitude journal before night, you know, like really just quickly before you go to sleep, what am I grateful for? You know, like, and then you can just find gratitude before you go to sleep, and then have like a really lovely, peaceful, relaxed sleep.
Yeah, that's such a good tip as well. Thanks, Onkartej, for all your your presence, your energy, and your tips, and your I think already being around you is such a such a wisdom. You're kind of, you are radiating wisdom. I feel that. Yeah. I'm really looking
Thanks,
forward
Sarah.
to see your everything unfolding now in the future, and to be like observing your path, let's say, and maybe we'll work again together in the future. Who knows?
That'd be amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd love that. Thank you so much for inviting me on, and it's been amazing to see how your journey is unfolding as well, Sarah.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thanks also to the work with you. Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so bye, Onkartej, and thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye, everyone.